G'day everyone. Mentioned in the Madbean Sun King demo that this pedal is a Madbean Drunken Dragon, and I actually built this pedal quite some time ago. It was actually the first Madbean project that I built, and it was back when his website was basically just a static website that he just posted a few projects here and there on. So it was quite some time ago, before there was the forum, or before, I think even before he was making PCBs as well. It's quite a long time ago. It's called the Madbean Drunken Dragon, and it's based on the Love Pedal Eternity. I've just put the Smashing Pumpkins Love Heart from Siamese Dream on the front because it's called a Love Pedal. It's one of my favourite overdrives. I like a dark overdrive personally. I'm not too keen on a bright sort of overdrive. They kind of just sound a bit sort of raspy or something. I don't know, not really my thing. It can get bright if you crank the tone up, but I think it sounds better when it's not. Yeah, again, that's probably my personal preference, being a dark overdrive liker. So let's open it up and have a look inside. This is going back quite some time, so I've got to sort of remember what I've done on the inside. And again, it's probably maybe it would have been in the teens, maybe sort of 15th built, somewhere between 10 and 20 in the build list. So it's going back a long time, and I'm pretty sure that it would go back as far as before I knew about using the right type of diameter wire as well. So I'm pretty sure it's a bit of a mess on the inside. Let's take a look. I can already tell before I even open the back that I've used these really bad quality jacks from J-Car. They're not exactly cheap there too. I think they're probably $1.50 or $2, and they're just bad. But you know, this is part of the learning curve, I guess, for when you build a when you start building pedals. You work out what's good and what's not, and also how to get good stuff cheap as well is another skill, I guess you could say. So yeah, it's definitely the cheap jacks. If you tighten that nut on these ones enough, there will be a connection between the shield and the tip, which makes the jack basically useless. So I had an issue with that a long time ago. I did a video specifically on that problem that I had, and these are the jacks that do that, and they're just bad. If you stick to Switchcraft and Nutric, you'll be fine. If you go with there's other good economy ones, but sometimes you get it's rolling the dice. You don't know whether you're going to get good economy or bad economy, whereas I know that Nutrix and Switchcraft don't have those sorts of issues, so I just try and stick with those and not bother with these crappy ones. So yeah, that's the Love Pedal Eternity on the inside. I'll just zoom into the circuit board so you can see a bit closer. So the chip there is the LM1458, which I actually bought 10 of, and I've used in a few other things. Pretty sure I did that in the sound comparison for the Sun King. That was a couple of weeks ago that I recorded that video. I can't remember, but I think I tried them in that too. And I'm pretty sure on the build doc he had that there was a lot of mods that you could do. You could, they're probably just, I can't remember specifically at the time. There's a resistor, and that capacitor's socketed, and I think I've got another. Yeah, there's another capacitor up there that's socketed. It's probably just the in-out capacitors. And that little picofarad ceramic is socketed as well, which is probably. I can't remember exactly how this tube screamer schematic looks like, but I think it's on the feedback loop. I think it controls some of the frequencies that's boosted or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, leave a comment if that's wrong, but I think it's something like that. And I've also socketed the diodes there as well. I didn't end up experimenting with that though, but they're socketed anyway. And I've also used these alpha pots, the 16mm alpha pots. This is one of the first pedals I think that I used 16mm. Believe it or not, I was using the 24mm pots, which are this size. absolutely monstrous. They'd probably last longer than 16 or 9 mil pots, but they're just so damn big. You know, you just got to allocate so much room for them. And a lot of the first pedals that I built, I actually used these 24 mil pots, and I was getting them from J-Car, and they never had the right they either had the wrong taper or the wrong size, and I had to try and improvise, and it was just a pain. Whereas now you just order them from Tater, Small Bear, or wherever you want, and just get the right size to start off with, and you don't have to worry about any of that sort of stuff. And it's definitely the wrong diameter size wire. It's quite thick, which creates a whole bunch of problems I've mentioned a few times in the past. Firstly, it looks messy. Secondly, it can end up with fray wires when you try and put a large diameter wire strand through a small hole. They end up going off to the sides, and then you end up with intermittent problems and things like that. So it's just better to use the right diameter wire to start off with. It's probably one of the most critical tips I could give you if you're getting into guitar pedals, is to use the right diameter wire. It'll make your life so much easier. And I've actually got a bit of an unconventional spot I just noticed there for putting a battery. I'm wondering if that actually fits, actually, because I'm not sure if I've ever done that before, but maybe I just went, I've run out of room, and I'll just shove it down the side, and it doesn't actually fit. Yeah, it actually might fit in there. I'll see if I can get the lid on, which is always the real test, because just because it sits there doesn't mean the lid's going to go on. And it probably would if I forced it down, but it's pretty damn tight. But I don't know, I mean, if I jigged it around a bit, I could probably get it fitted in there. But yeah, it's quite tight. But yeah, I don't know, maybe I just put it down the side. Like I said, I don't even use batteries anyway. Yeah, back in the old days, I just put battery snaps on everything and try and make a spot for a battery, even if it was really, really tight. I'd go, oh, you know, I've got to get that battery in there. Why though? Because I never even use batteries. It's, you know, like if you end up with a build like this that's going to end up being ultra tight because you're trying to fit a battery, and then the stupid thing doesn't even fit anyway, and you don't even use them, just leave it out and make it a neat DC powered pedal instead of a messy DC / battery powered. And up the top here, I've got an external nut. I bought a jack, DC jack. I bought a whole bunch of these because I thought having the thread on the outside will leave more room on the inside, which it does, and it comes in handy sometimes when you have a really tight build too. I've mentioned that a few times in the past as well. But I've actually put pretty sure that's solder. I've wrapped solder around the inside just to keep the nut from protruding right the way out. That's interesting. I don't know why I just didn't use a probably couldn't actually fit a washer in there because it's going to interfere with the back plate. But yeah, that was kind of ingenious. Oh, actually no, I don't think it's solder. I think it's just solid wire. But yeah, anyway. On another thing with this build too, I was just tightening up a knob before, and I noticed I took it off just so I could reseat it properly, because I thought, oh, I'll make sure it's properly aligned to 0, approximately where 0 would be on the front. And I noticed that I've actually used, and again, this is just another confirmation as to why you need to get the right part supplier and make sure that you can get the right parts from your supplier and not just make do with whatever you can get. It's a D shaft, a solid shaft pot, and it also looks like it's one of the ones that have the long piece on the end that you have to cut off with a hacksaw. I've cut off the edge there, and they often don't end up. I can't cut them that straight. I don't have a Dremel or something like that. If I had a Dremel, it probably wouldn't be so much of a problem. You could just go zip and take the end off. But I've always had to use a hacksaw, and they always don't end up the same. This isn't too bad, this one's a little bit higher. The middle one's a bit lower, and then the outside one's a bit higher as well. Just from the inaccuracy of using a hacksaw. But yeah, that's a D shaft thing. But I mean, you can just buy them without that, and without the extra bit that you have to cut off. And the D shaft as well, if you've got that shaft on it, you need to line the nut to the flat part. Sorry, the grub screw to the flat part. which basically means that the position of your pot on the inside is what determines where 0 is going to be, and that's just a huge pain in the backside. If you can just get one that's got a solid shaft that doesn't have that flat bit on the top, just you know, like around, that's a better option, because then you don't have to worry about where the stupid thing is, the pot is on the inside. You just put you put it to 0, line up where you want it. All right, I want it there, bang, screw it in, you're done. It's much easier. I was using those D-shaft pots for quite a while. That's pretty much all that JCar supply, and they're more trouble than they're worth. So that's pretty much it, I think, for this build report. It's pretty much all I can remember of it, because it was quite some time ago, probably 4 or 5 years ago, and it's a really good overdrive. It's probably one of my favourite, and it just goes to show you too. I mean, it's maybe 4 or 5 years old. I've made all these mistakes with building it. It still works perfectly fine. You know, don't underestimate the longevity of a hand-built pedal, one that you've made yourself, that you're probably going to make mistakes on. You know, like once they're inside the enclosure and they're working properly inside the enclosure, you generally don't have a problem with it. And sometimes, if you do have a problem with it, something small, and you know, hopefully you'll know how you put it together, and you'll know how to fix it too. So yeah, just a side comment. So that's it for the build report. I'll do a sound demo of it next. You had a little bit of a listen to it before with the Sun King demo, the comparison between this and the Sun King, but I'll do something a little bit more in depth now with it. I find it's a really good pedal for boosting other pedals with too, so I might chuck a couple of other pedals in and give it a bit of a smack the front end a bit with this. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more do-it-yourself guitar pedal videos, tutorials and demos, and the demo of this pedal as well. Thanks for watching.